In Singapore, 1 in 3 are at risk of getting diabetes in their lifetime. Why is the figure so dismal? I want to know how to tell if we are at risk and just how much this disease is costing all of us. I am told I'll be meeting a person who has been suffering with diabetes for a long time. I didn't expect him to be this young. And I'm in for a bigger surprise.
I was first diagnosed with diabetes when I was 14 years old. At that point of time, I was actually a bit shocked.
Do you know how you got diagnosed with diabetes?
I was actually sick for a few weeks, very lethargic, lost in weight, very thirsty. So my mom bring me to see my family doctor. And after that, my doctor suspected me that I have these symptoms, so he did a glucose test.
What kind of treatment plan did the doctor put you on?
I was given oral medication, but I did not really follow the instruction of the doctor.
So you didn't take a medication?
No. Sometimes I've forgotten, sometimes I just miss out. And then because of my ECA, I reach home late, and then sometimes I don't bring my medication to school.
So you were not able to control the diabetes?
Yeah. I still continue drinking my soft drinks, my fatty foods.
How much soft drinks and how much fatty foods did you eat?
Wow. A lot of cans of Coke. Yeah, Coca-Cola.
How many cans would you be able to drink a day?
Maybe half a dozen.
Oh,
yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes, at one go. I can even challenge myself drinking 1.5 liters at one go as well.
Why
Back
would you
then,
do that?
just for the thrill, without thinking of the consequences.
And you had already been diagnosed with?
Yes.
When did you realize that your condition was out of your control?
When I was serving national service, I felt very sick. I had food poisoning, and then I went to the E&E to seek treatment. They told me my sugar was actually quite high. They actually wanted me to go and see the diabetes specialist back then. So what the doctor gave me was oral medication and insulin.
What exactly is happening in Guo Tiang's body that requires medication and injections? Well, imagine you are taking this aeroplane from Singapore to Bangkok. You have to maintain a consistent altitude the whole way. Food raises blood sugar, or in this case, your altitude. Insulin lowers it. Non-diabetics aren't concerned with altitudes as they have a working pancreas which produces insulin correctly. This is akin to being on autopilot mode. You can cruise with no problems. Guo Tiang, on the other hand, has to constantly worry about his altitude. Staying at a consistently high altitude, that is high blood sugar levels, could lead to a diabetic coma. While at a low altitude, that is low blood sugar level, a potential side effect of diabetes medications can starve the brain of glucose, leading to blurred vision, slurred speech, and even seizures. So for the first time, during your national service, you had to inject yourself with insulin.
Yes.
How did that feel?
It's rather difficult because it's like you are inserting a needle into yourself. You can feel the pain of the needle prick. So sometimes you have a rejection of, oh, I don't want to take anymore. Yeah, because it hurts.
Did you stop injecting yourself as well?
Yes, I stopped using all the medication because of financial difficulties. The medication was actually quite expensive back then. Insulin and syringes was actually quite, it's a bit hard for me to pay all these things.
Were you aware of the consequences of not taking those types of medication?
At that point of time, no, because I was still very young, still quite strong. So I still continue with my sugary diets until about 10 to 12 years ago that I have a very bad wound infection at my left shin that is actually been infected. It started from very small pimple, and then it started to grow very red, and then abscess were coming out, and then my whole leg were actually very swollen that I couldn't even wear my shoes. And then I was having fever, vomiting, and then I was feeling very terrible. I went back to see my diabetes doctor. So she suspected that I may have a very early stage of kidney failure.
It is estimated that by 2050, there will be 1 million diabetics in Singapore, which is why in 2016, this happened.
I'm declaring war on diabetes.
A national crisis call by the then Health Minister. Over the next few years, we got people moving. We put mandatory nutrition labelling of sugary drinks, and we even tried to get our hawkers to make their dishes healthier. All these efforts seem to have paid off. The recent National Population Health Survey showed that the prevalence of diabetes among Singaporeans was 8.5% in 2022. This is a slight dip of 0.3 percentage points compared to 2017, when the war on the disease had just started. But before you think we are out of the woods,
well, I think you must look at this war on diabetes as a very long game.
this is Professor Chia. He and his team brought Singapore's diabetes crisis to widespread attention in 2016.
We shouldn't be just looking at indicators of the prevalence of diabetes along the way. The target is that we do not want to have 1 million diabetics by 2050. And so we need to focus on actually the risk factors for diabetes, in particular obesity. The problem is that aging is a risk factor, but obesity is also a risk factor for diabetes, and in particular obesity among the young. And what we have seen is that obesity among the young, those 30 years and below, have been increasing quite rapidly in recent years. In terms of our control of obesity, the population hasn't come to a stage whereby they derive an internal motivation. So you need to have people with a value system where they want to value health just as much as wealth.
So with the survey results, 60% of people who have been diagnosed with diabetes are not controlling it well. Tell me, what does it mean to control well your diabetes?
Yeah, so in terms of control for diabetes, is essentially that I need to make sure that your blood sugar level do not fluctuate much and should not be very high.
So 60% is quite a lot. Why is it that they are not controlling their diabetes?
One of the big reasons is it's such a silent condition, right? I may be a diabetic and I don't feel unwell. So it kind of forces or creates a certain sense of complacency, right? Because I don't feel sick. But it is at that silent phase that it actually continues to damage our blood vessels, which in turn leads to all the long-term complications. So I think it's crucial that not only patients must be educated to say, hey, you must make sure you're compliant and so forth. I think at the systems level, we must put in place a way whereby we can actually ensure that large proportion of the diabetics are managed well. And there are still 20% of the population out who are diabetics who do not know that they are diabetics, right? So if I have 500,000 diabetics in my cluster, that means I have 100,000 that I do not know that.
Well, when you put it that way, it sounds like a lot.
It is a lot.
Yes.
It is a lot.
Early detection via screenings is important, and yet,
well, I don't think it's a really pressing issue.
why not do a diabetes screening?
I think it's never occurred to me.
What happens when Talking Point helps Diabetes Singapore to get young Singaporeans screened? Lin Guoqiang was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes when he was just 14 years old. He is part of a very small number of Singaporeans who are diagnosed with the disease when they were just teenagers.
Usually I would have my meals in the hawker center. So would you like to join me?
Absolutely, yeah.
Before that, I need to take my insulin first. Okay, this is my insulin pen. It's 6 millimeters.
Oh, I can see it.
It has a bit of lubricant on the needle, so when you inject it, it won't be so pain. So I'm now going to adjust my dosage, which is 8 units. And then my alcohol swab.
Guo Qiang has a shot of insulin before every meal to help control his blood sugar levels, since his body can't do that on its own.
Okay, then sanitize again. So my mealtime, usually I would choose mixed vegetable rice because I have more choices. So I can choose those that is suitable for me. Brother, 是的，饭炒，今天有没有苦瓜？还有苦瓜吗？没有了啊。给我豆腐，还有茄子哦。黑色的是什么来的？鸡肉啊，OK 咯 ，OK 咯。谢谢。Thank you, thank you. Corner. Before I eat, I need to take my medication first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still got some more
Yeah, quite a lot.
3 pills.
6.
Why do you not cook yourself at home?
Because I'm working, and during my off-dialysis days, I reach home already very tired already. And then because of the post-dialysis restlessness, it will make me need to get more rest. And then for my regular 135, my dialysis days, it will usually drag until 11 o'clock. Then I reach home. Yeah, so I don't have the time to cook myself. So the easiest way is to buy out.
There are different types of diabetes, but the two big ones are type 1, which is an autoimmune disease. We still don't know what exactly causes it. And type 2, which Guo Qiang has. It has multiple risk factors, including being overweight and family history. Type 2 diabetes accounts for 90% of all diabetes cases. Diabetes Singapore is the only local registered charity that is dedicated to fighting diabetes. They organize free screenings across Singapore about twice a month. It so happens that they are holding a free screening this weekend. So I put out a call to action inviting our Talking Point viewers to come down. Do you frequently consume sugary drinks and fatty foods and think, oh well, I'm still young, how could it really impact my health? Here's your chance to find out. Over 50 Singaporeans responded to our call-out. We've set up here the Marymount Community Club with different areas for different tests. But before we begin, I want to find out what exactly a screening entails. What are the different tests that you conduct to screen for diabetes?
We do quite a range of tests. We do a HbA1c. So HbA1c is basically a 3 months average of the blood glucose. So and that result basically gives us a very good indicative whether there's a pre-diabetes or diabetes, so that when we refer them back after the screening, the doctor will know what to follow up.
Without aggressive intervention, 1 in 4 Singapore residents will have pre-diabetes by 2030. Being pre-diabetic puts a person at increased risk of type 2 diabetes.
What is the biggest challenge in screening for diabetes?
I think the biggest challenge we have is reaching out to the community. We don't get much young adults coming for screening.
I think diabetes is more of like, okay, we have a lot of sugar, right? I think I do take a lot of sugar, but I don't think I take enough sugar to be like, I will get diabetes, that kind of thing.
Well, I don't think it's a really pressing issue, but recently I've had a friend who just got diagnosed with diabetes, so it's been on my mind.
Friends in his 20s?
Yeah.
Wow, did that surprise you?
It was quite shocking actually. I thought he was joking with me at first.
Do you think diabetes will affect someone who is in their 20s or 30s?
I mean, for sure, but I think the chance of getting it is lower than being older.
Like me lah. But why?
I don't know.
Before we get to the results, I'm about to discover how costly diabetes really is to all of us. If I don't have diabetes and within my circle I don't have anyone who's suffering from diabetes, why should I care? Kavita Venkataraman has spent the past 18 years publishing studies that examine the far-reaching consequences of diabetes. If I don't have diabetes and within my circle I don't have anyone who's suffering from diabetes, why should I care?
Even if diabetes does not affect you individually, we are part of a larger society and there are serious costs to society from diabetes, irrespective of whether it happens in your family or not. Costs to society, we can think of it in two different ways. One are the costs that are incurred in treating diabetes, managing diabetes. The other segment of costs are the indirect costs. Indirect costs in 2010 accounted for 58% of the total costs.
So the direct will be 42%.
If we looked at the cost of diabetes in total, this would be about $1 billion in 2010. By 2025, this number is going to look like this. We are going to see a cost of $2.5 billion from diabetes by 2050 if the current trends persist.
So somebody has got to pay for all these treatments, for the subsidies, and to build infrastructure. Who is going to pay for this?
There will be trade-offs. So if the cost of care from diabetes and other chronic diseases is rising, then we have either the choice of providing the same quality of care to this larger number to meet this increasing demand, and then find some way to raise those monies, either through taxation. It will be we as a society, as taxpayers, who will end up paying this cost. So there is no getting away from the fact that the cost is going to be to each of us as part of the society and this nation. Or to then accept that we cannot provide the quality of care that we currently provide to future generations with diabetes.
Over the course of 20 years, Guoqiang has had to deal with various complications as a result of his diabetes, from progressive vision loss to foot surgery to kidney failure. Well, today I'm in Yishun again to catch up with Guoqiang, and he's asked me to meet him here where he undergoes dialysis.
So this is my so-called second home. Okay, now I have to take my pre-dialysis break.
Okay, Ken.
Okay.
Tell me about the financial cost of managing your disease. How much subsidy do you get?
For my dialysis, after deduction of my Medisave and Medishield, the remaining I will have to actually pay $50 co-pay from my Medisave. At the end of the month, I do not have to co-pay any cash. Consultation will be from my Medisave as well.
How sustainable are these sources?
I have to keep on working so that my employer and myself have to contribute CPF and then the Medisave. That's right.
You can't stop working.
Basically, I can't stop working.
How does that make you feel?
Doesn't feel really that good because I can't show up to work sometimes, and then work pile up, and then the work responsibility on me becomes my colleagues' responsibility as well. So it's a bit unfair for them. Yeah.
Do you fear losing your job?
I do. Yeah. If I were to lose my job right now, very hard to get the top up for my Medisave and CPF. And then there's no source of income. And then it's hard for me to be being employed. Yeah, because as a dialysis patient, a lot of employers doesn't like to hire those chronic disease patients. Yeah, so it's a bit difficult.
If you recall, a week ago, we got 53 Talking Point viewers screened for diabetes. I've got the results of the diabetes screening tests. The good news, most are cleared. One person, though, could be diabetic, and at least 6 of them had results indicating that they could be pre-diabetic. Now, what this means is that they have blood sugar levels that are higher than normal, but not high enough to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. All 7 of them are below the age of 40. Now, I managed to speak to the viewer who could be diabetic. Understandably, he was a little bit shocked, but took it as a reality check. So he will make a follow-up appointment to see his doctor. These results really underscore the importance of getting screened, because you might be at risk, especially if you are overweight or have a family history of diabetes. Next week, I witness for myself the fallout that comes if we let diabetes spin out of control.
2 out of 3 patients who are on dialysis here, they are actually diabetic.
And reveal a shocking but little talked about outcome of poor diabetes management.
In Singapore, 1,500 amputations in 1 year.
That's crazy. Wow, that's a lot.